Okay, just to run down the stock prices quickly. Stock prices, Railtown 31 cents, GBUX $3.62, NIXX $1.40, DJT $20.86, and FNGR 125. Potential stories out there. Trump is having a hissy fit. I say that politely. I'm not picking on Trump. With Powell. Powell's the one being a little spoiled brat, probably. There's, according to your favorite guy, Gasparino, Trump might delist Chinese stocks in the United States. Measles are outbreaking in Texas, but hey, just let people across the border without any screening. It's their right. If you question that, you're just a white supremacist. God, please. I think it's time to take the right to vote away from women. I'm almost serious on that, by the way. We get all these extreme policies because the Democrats pander to the extremist side of womanism. It's just drive you crazy. Okay, yesterday gold traded at 100x to the price of silver, 100x. We can go through that once Ham, after Ham comes on. There's, you know, Katy Perry's in the news, who cares? U.S. troops killed on the border in New Mexico. Swell. It's all crap news. It's all meant to distract us. All this news is meant to divide and distract us. All right. I don't know what else to tell you. I'll go through some of those and then we can see if Ham's available. It's a quiet day in the news front, looks like. AOC is going to be our presidential candidate. You're going to see. You're going to wish women couldn't vote. Just take a pause. All right, let's see. It's kind of scary. My brain stops thinking just 5 seconds after it has a thought. Maybe old guys shouldn't vote either. IMF warns trade war could slow global growth. You gotta really think these people that go to school, they're smarter than you are. All right, let me just see what you guys are saying. Ham wants to talk to you about what Kristen Shaughnessy put up, and she's the best. She is the best. Hey, the one, CC Ryder, Daryl Collins, Darren, sorry, Eddie, Ola, hey, Gerald, Pilot to the Moon. It's the same pattern. Hey, William, they're offering the June calls for Finger that are really expensive. Well, it's interesting. I'll tell you what I would do. I would sell those calls, or at least for part of my position. Now, the risk is the stock really runs and you sold them too soon, and if you don't buy them back, sell the future, you can do that too. You could lose your stock. But I don't know which ones you're talking about. But Finger Motion right now is what, $1.30? You sell the $2 for 10 cents. If the stock goes to 220, maybe they get exercised. But if they don't, you collect the 10 cents. That's what I would start doing with Finger Motion. That's what I would do. Now, I do think there's going to be a repricing upwards of Finger Motion at some point in the future. Let me state it differently. There's a possibility of that. I've got to tell you, if Trump takes Chinese ADRs and stops trading Chinese ADRs on the American exchange, we'd be kidding ourselves if there wouldn't be blowback on Finger Motion. That's my opinion. Now, will he do that? I don't know. I think it's just talk right now. What's going on in this so-called tariff or trade war is probably not what's being discussed in the headlines. Is it possible that he's targeting China? Or let me ask you, could he be targeting the European Union? Who do you think Trump needs to strike a deal with? Probably China. Does he really need to strike a deal with the European Union? I don't know. I don't think the story is being written in the headlines. And so this comes back to, I'm not sure that Trump is going to delist Chinese stocks in the United States. It might just be a part of the growling and posturing before they make an agreement. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. I like that. Trump is a patient man. Beware of a patient man. He plans the destruction of his enemy. Breathe deep, the gathering. Doom. Watch lights fade from across the room. Wow, I like this. I like to see this. President Trump According to a report from the New York Times, you guys trust the New York Times, don't you? President Trump blocked a planned Israeli airstrike on Iran. Bravo. Bravo. If this is true, then President Trump may have prevented World War III. Breaking. President Trump, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth stepped in to halt an Israeli airstrike on Iran. All right, 11:20. I don't know if he's going to call in or I have to call him. Well, while we wait, I'm going to read something to you that's very short. Very, very short. From Tyler Durden yesterday. Gold traded at 100 times the price of silver yesterday. Bloomberg strategist Simon White notes, silver has a tendency to eventually catch up with gold, with rallies which can be abrupt, rapid, and large. Gold has surged, driven by central banks. Now it looks as if retail is getting in on the action, with the physical holdings of gold exchanges The physical holdings of gold exchange-traded funds are rising. But if retail investors think they've missed too much of the upside, they may decide to look at silver. As gold's poorer sibling, it can often lag, but when it decides to catch up, explosive barely covers the size of the move. That happened in 1979 to 1980. Gold had started its rally around 1976 and ended up peaking 8 times higher in price. Silver's surge didn't really get going until 1979, but within a year, it had risen tenfold. Silver is underperforming bullion again, with the silver-gold ratio this month falling to a 5-year low. But in the late 70s, it went on to outperform gold by a significant margin. We should not necessarily expect precious metals to rally exactly as they did in the 70s. Still, the silver tortoise could do what it's done in the past and cleanly outperform gold. See, I told you it'd be quick. Yesterday's MMTLP FOIA news pulled back the curtain on the players in Congress who have been two-faced. Let me guess, the sourpuss Maxine Waters is one of them. The guy with the bow tie is another. Gary Gensler's a third. Robert Crook is another. We've called it all along, but that's interesting. I need to listen in to the great and undeterred and thought-provoking and analytical, brave, no-nonsense, junk savvy, and find out what you're talking about. I haven't listened to her recently. It's not because I just haven't done it, but I need to listen in. I don't know where to find that FOIA news. It's no surprise to me. People always want proof. Well, that's falling into the trap that the crooks lay. And everybody in Congress is a lawyer. Lawyers only accept things if it's black and white and it's in the docket of the court. Otherwise, it's not factual. Guys like me, I'm not a lawyer, so I can allow my mind to say, well, I know that 1 + 2 + 3 plus, what's that one in the middle? I can't quite tell, +5. I can say, all right, that must have been 4. Well, you don't know it because you can't see it, and unless it's in evidence, that could, well, that's the problem. It drives you crazy. Lawyers go to school to turn off half their brain, probably 3/4 of their brain. I know the humor section of most lawyers' brain gets turned off. But then again, no one laughs at my jokes anymore. Maybe I'm turning into a lawyer. Maybe I'm turning into a lawyer. I bought gold at 1,600 and loving it. That's great. See, that's the thing, Ryan. I try to tell people silver, if you buy in early, you feel like a king in the whole bull market. You're checking it, you're reading news stories, you're adding to your position. But if you wait, you don't feel so good about it. You're not as committed to the trade. So it's good to get in early. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah, that's what Ham wants to talk about, that Trump is alerting the SEC and Atkins is in. I don't trust Atkins, but, you know, whatever. What Trump was waiting for his confirmation, maybe. What was Trump talking about within Northwest Bio? I don't know. We'll ask him when he comes on. But Northwest Bio, bottom line, Augustine, any biotech company needs capital. They're almost worse than oil and gas companies. A successful oil and gas company inhales capital. Biotech companies inhale capital. So when you have a group of these dishonest, cowardly criminals who hide in the corners and they get a financing going with a biotech firm, hey, there's going to be news. Hey, they got the cure for cancer. Doesn't matter. They know they're going to need capital. Get them hooked. Get them hooked on heroin. Get them hooked on the pimp. Next time they need more heroin, they'll come to us. Next time they need more financing, they'll come to Jeff Easton. They'll come to Kurt Kramer. They'll come to Ari Rubenstein. Next time they'll come. We'll sell more stock. It doesn't matter how good the news is. Northwest Bio's amazing. It's amazing. They have a cure for cancer. Northwest Bio is unbelievable. But they destroyed the cap table. Let's take the time. Let's waste our time looking up Northwest Bio, NWBO on the over-the-counter markets. And we'll look up okay. So authorized shares of Northwest Bio are 1.7 billion shares. Perfect for the criminals. Outstanding shares, 1.4 billion, slightly rounded up. 1.4 billion, perfect for the criminals. Held at DTC, 1.341 billion, held at the depository trust, where they can over-collateralize, hypothecate, rehypothecate, Xerox, mimeograph, lend it out, create derivatives, sell, 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 keep selling, sell stock that doesn't exist, go over to Germany, sell stock, sell stock, sell stock. Perfect for the criminals. The float is 1.15 billion shares. So the stock is up. Perfect for the criminals. That's great. Let's let the stock go up. There must be news. Things must be great in Northwest Bio. We better talk about Northwest Bio. Something must be happening at Northwest Bio. Let's get into Northwest Bio. Guys, the stock is up. It's perfect for the shorts. It runs up, they keep selling. They keep selling. Stock that doesn't exist. Stock that doesn't exist. Stock that doesn't exist. And they keep doing it. And so you start buying. For example, they announced a convertible note financing with 50 million. They did that at the end of last year. Let's read that. Let's read that. They entered into, on December 19th, a 5 million convertible promissory note. Hey, that's great. They got 5 million. Northwest Bio. It's going up. Let's talk about Northwest Bio. It's got to be great. It's got to be great. Oh, gosh, it's got to be great. I want to hear more about Northwest Bio. December 19th, 2024, Northwest Bio entered into a $5 million convertible promissory note financed with YA2 PN Limited, an investment fund managed by Yorkville Advisors Global LP. The term of the note is 13 months. Hey, that's got to be great. They're going to pay it back in 13 months. Let's get into Northwest Bio. Gosh, it's moving. We got to get in. We can't afford to be out of it. 13 months. The note carries an original issue discount of 7%, but no interest. No interest. Hey, it's a great deal. Repayment of all the outstanding amounts is due at maturity. No payments are due until maturity. Hey, that's a great deal. Note includes customary default provisions. During the term of the note, it is convertible at the option of the holder at a small discount to the then prevailing market price. Wow, what a great financing. Yorkville Advisors, they're the best. Ari Rubenstein, the best. The best. What a place to do business with. The amounts of such conversions are limited to 1/6 of the overall note amount in any given calendar month, unless the conversion price is above 31 cents, 31.5 cents. The company plans to use the proceeds for general corporate purposes. They entered into a standby equity subscription agreement called the subscription agreement, which the company may use after the note is repaid or converted. Under this subscription agreement, Northwest Bio has the option in its discretion. It's in their discretion. They're going to stop needing money. They're going to stop. The heroin addict is going to stop being addicted to the pimp's supply of heroin. So it's at their discretion. They're not hooked. They're not hooked. It's at the discretion of Northwest Bio to require Yorkville to subscribe for up to 50 million of common shares at any time during a 24-month period at a small discount to the then prevailing price. Who controls the effing price? The company has no obligation to make any such use of this arrangement. And the company can cancel the arrangement after the note is repaid or converted. The company has no current plans to draw on this standby facility. However, the company believes it will be useful to have this facility available for special funding needs in case we need another fix of heroin because we couldn't make it through the night and I need it. I'll do anything for more heroin. Joseph Gunnar & Co. acted as the exclusive placement agent. Hey, Northwest Bio's out of the woods. They're working with Yorkville. They're using Joseph Gunnar. They've raised $5 million, and then they've got a standby $50 million with Yorkville. What can go wrong? Well, hey, they've got Northwest Bio is focused on personalized immunotherapy products designed to treat cancer. Wow, isn't that great? Can't they got a cure for cancer? This has got to be the greatest company ever. Why would Yorkville want to destroy that? They have a treatment for this brain cancer that Ted Kennedy died of. It's the most aggressive and lethal form of brain cancer. They have a treatment. Awesome. Awesome. This is great. I want to buy Northwest Bio. I've got to buy those shares. Northwest Bio today announced that on December 19th, 2024, it entered into a $5 million convertible promissory note financing with Yorkville Advisors. It converts. The amounts of such conversions are limited to 1/6 of the overall note in any given month, unless the conversion price is above 31.5 cents. Why is the stock up? Why is the stock up? It's got to be great news. I've got to go buy some shares. I'm going to miss out on a squeeze. I better get in. The stock's up. Let's go, go, go. Mother of all squeezes. If it prints, I don't know the details of the contract, but if the conversion price is above 31.5 cents, the amount of the conversion is not limited to 1/6. I don't know. I don't know how many times I can go through the exact same story over and over and over again. It's not your fault. It's not the CEO's fault. And I don't need to point out that Ari Rubenstein is a white, straight male. But there are a small cadre of human beings, men, white, straight, out of New York, out of Florida, out of Canada, out of Germany, out of, I guess there's some out west, but out of the Cayman Islands, out of Panama, who target companies who need capital. Oil and gas companies, bio companies, medical companies, EV companies, companies who have an invention of some kind, any company who needs access to capital, they target. They send in a guy like Jeff Easton, a white, straight male. Jeff Easton goes in, or Ari Rubenstein. Here, sign here. This is just a slight discount, don't worry. Look, this heroin, it doesn't hook you. The needle, it's clean. The needle's clean. Yeah, the guy down the hall just used it, but in the future, we'll have clean needles. And the heroin, It's just use a little bit. It's all right. You won't get hooked. And we'll give it this time at a slight discount to market prices. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And we're here, you know, we're just here. We're not taking any interest on the deal. We're just getting a small discount, 7%. And you know what? We're only going to have the note out for 13 months. You only have to work as a hooker as a whore in our bordello for 13 months. Don't worry about it. After that, you'll be good as new. You'll be out on your way. It's great. And then along comes the Johns. Wow, new hooker. Let's go see her. She looks great. She's young. She's plump. This is great. Got to get in there. We got to get in there. Got to enjoy her. We got to use her. Got to get in. The stock's up. Let's go buy. Let's buy. Let's buy. The stock's up. What's going on with Northwest Bio? It's the same damn thing over and over again, whether it's GME, AMC, Northwest Bio, COSM, Genius. It's over and over and over and over and over again. The stock goes up. Hey, I got to get in. I got to get in. I got to go get in. What's going on? What's going on? I'm going to miss out. They have Northwest Bio. They own Northwest Bio by the balls. They have Northwest Bio under control. Yorkville Advisors is a criminal group. Yorkville Advisors gave the money to a nuclear power company and kept it suppressed. What the hell are you doing or thinking? Now, my own opinion, if you buy Northwest Bio and you do it over time, eventually a big boy is going to come and buy them out. But you know what Yorkville just did? They just put a contract in there that supposedly, once the note is paid off, which is a big-ass assumption that that note will ever get paid off or converted. But Yorkville can buy stock at a discount. Let's use 25 cents. Yorkville can put another 200 million shares into the float. So when a big guy comes to buy, who wins? Yorkville. But that's where I think Northwest Bio is an investment that you could set aside. Buy the stock, add to it, hold it, know that it's going to go down, know that it's going to go up. Once it gets to 31, 35 cents, they'll drive it back down so that Ari Rubenstein can make money. Not Yorkville. These financiers are God's chosen people. These people are the creme de la creme. They walk in a rarefied air. They went to the schools. They have the money. They have the backers of Stevie Cohen and Ken Griffin, and they can provide financing, and they rain down manna from heaven. They deserve the money because they're doing such good. They're protecting you. They're cleansing the market of criminal CEOs and bad business plans. I don't know. I'm sure I've overreacted, but I will ask Ham about Northwest Bio. I think that once there is approval, if there's traction, Northwest Bio could be bought by a Gilead Sciences or a Johnson & Johnson or a Glaxo, and it will overwhelm the destruction that Yorkville Advisors has done. But make no mistake about it, when these stocks go up, that's what the shorts need, the criminals need, so they have something to steal. They need your urgency to buy as it goes up. They need that to steal from you. And if you want to keep playing that game where you just go get a little more heroin, do it. Do it. Maybe you're the person that doesn't die of a heroin overdose. Maybe you're the one. You're the one that's going to have excellent trips every time you show up. But that's what's going on with Northwest Bio. In my opinion. In my opinion. Look, Ham hasn't called, so I'm going to try him. I don't know why he hasn't called. He said he would. I don't have all day for this.
Hello.
Hey, I'm live. I've been waiting for you to call in, but I just decided to call you.
No. So let's go. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right. So everyone, I hope you all read the DJT statement today, telling everyone in the world that this is not a casino in a third world country, the stock market, and they want investigations into illegal trading and fraud in DJT stock. And once again, he can't just save DJT. He's got to save us all. People, I can't say it or stress it anymore. They're ringing the dinner bell here. If you want to make money, find whatever stock you think is going to get squeezed and get in big. This is the time to do it. The president's telling you, not me, not William. We've been screaming about the fraud, but now you can actually see that everyone's finally, I told you before, you got the president and the richest man in the world going after these guys. Ken Griffin and all these people are going to take a hit. The first ones are going to go, the Kramers, the Lynn Partners and the ASCM, these type of thugs. They're the first ones. They're going to go to jail. The bigger guys, they'll work them out and make them, get out of their positions and deleverage, as you may say. But it's coming to a head. We can't say much more. These companies have been under attack. We posted all the data on the ones that we follow, and it's just a matter of when they're going to go. And you don't have to do anything. Just watch it. I could care less. But if you ever want to change your life, now's the time to do it. And it's based on what the president of the United States is posting through DJT, through Devin Nunes. They know all about it. There's not much more I can say about it. It's right there. We posted about the companies. You know how big their shorts are. Go pick whatever poison you want. I'm staying with the companies that have been actually fighting these characters and going after them, not covering their shorts. GameStop, it may go up, but you know what? The guy sold them 140 million shares already. All right, so it's a little different. These guys have been plugging shorts for a while. AMC did the same thing. KOSS, I don't know what they've done. But, Kodak is one you can look at. Pick whatever you want. I'm not going to describe them all to you. But find your own, and it's showtime. Do what you have to do. The statement is huge. Read it again. It's right there. It's all over the place. Kristen Shaughnessy was nice enough to post it all over on Twitter. All right? It's all over the place. The game is coming to an end. We told you it's going to come to an end. Trump has to pull the Band-Aid off now. All right? You just can't let this continue. When they started fucking with his stock, that told me that we were going to be a clear winner. Once they went after him, it was a free shot for us. Okay, I don't give a damn where the stocks are. And just so you know, GBUX, I had two guys watching it this morning. 95% of the trades on when it was 24,000 was washed. They were washing them all morning. They have settlement problems. They can't deliver the stock. So what do? They start crossing and washing it to buy more settlement time. Those are the signs of death. All right. Finger motion, the volume is dried up. I described to you 250 million shares. It's going to take 5,000 days or 20 years to cover. Don't worry about it. Once it starts, it's going to happen in 2 days because the prime broker knows the losses will just be endless. So it's going to be a race to cover in these names. Once they start, they can't stop. All right. If you sit there, they're telling you right there. It's in your face. There's not much more I could say, William. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Northwest Bio? It's up
Zero.
0.0195.
Zero.
What was Ham talking about the ticker Northwest Bio?
Northwest Bio is going to get a settlement. The lawyers are going to take a big piece. The company will get a piece. The shareholders are going to get a cucumber up their ass. Nothing. The company needs to get the cure for cancer. Then you win. That's the bet. That's what I see.
Would it surprise? Anyway, I don't want to talk about Northwest Bio.
I don't.
DJT is up today, 154.
I told you yesterday. I posted it yesterday. I don't know if I told you guys. I said, pay attention to DJT. That's going to be the sign that things are going to happen. DJT's going up. You're getting your sign. Never before has the government told you which way the stocks are going. And I'm not a believer in waiting for other people to buy it and then say, oh my God, I should buy it. You buy it before it happens. And it's going on now.
That's right. The riskiest time to buy is when the stocks are going up. Best time is when they're flat and the story hasn't changed. Then you wait. Our arbitrage, my opinion, because we're not a hedge fund, our arbitrage is time. That's my opinion.
We put our time in. You got your education. While other people were making money in the video and laughing, now's the time you got to go for the gusto. That's it. You know the stocks that I'm following.
GBUX,
both of them are going to be impossible to buy.
GBUX is down 40 cents if my eyesight is right. So it's 362 to 393. The volume is only 30,000 shares.
Well, out of the 30,000 I posted, I told you this morning, I had two professional people tell me they watch these guys crossing stock, washing trades, which is illegal, meaning that they're short. They buy it back from another account, means that that trade is closed up. So that delivery will be settled on a fake trade again. And that's all they did, was move the boulder down the road.
Yeah. What do you think's happening with GBUX in terms of timing, in terms of
I think it's showtime.
price?
I think they're both showtime. I just told you that. There's nothing else to say.
Okay.
We've documented it. They're trapped. They're short 3 million shares. The company knows. Everyone knows. The people that have been buying the stock, everyone knows. The company's working on a special dividend. We relayed it to them a long time ago. That's going to go into motion. And whatever business they're doing, they're doing.
And then it looks like fingers down slightly, but the volume is
zero.
Well, it's 43,000, but you're saying they're swapping it all around.
Yeah, they're washing trades there.
Yeah.
Finger motion, I told you, is going to be a 50,000 share day trader. Try to cover 250 million shares with 50,000 shares trading. I told you, it's 5,000 days or 20 years. You break it down. If they had to buy back 50 a day. But people are going to front run it. It's going to be impossible. That's why I say $2,500 my target.
Wander wants to know when Ham comes on. Are you running late?
I'm right here.
Yeah. X-Pulse bought some DJT calls.
Good for him. I told you the way to do it. If you bought them at $1, sell half at $1.50, and this way you own half of them at 50 cents, and you've got, and if they go again, then you sell 10 or you sell half of what you got left, and you own them all for free, and then you can let it go. If it runs to 30, you can stay longer with no risk.
When a lot of people are buying GBUX, by the way, a bunch of people here.
Listen, GBUX is a stock. GBUX is a stock you can't get rich out of. I mean, you could buy 1,000 shares. In finger motion, you could buy 50,000 shares. It's a different stock. They're different plays. I told you, I only got 10,000 shares. My family owns 30 altogether. We own 10 times more in finger motion.
Right.
It's a different play. But why not? Why can't I spread my risk in owning a little of this one? When it goes, let's say I sell it at 100, all right? I got 10,000 shares. I'm going to make a nice payday. Why would I give it up? I don't need to have 1 billion shares of every one of them. I can't afford to do it anyway.
So how can GBUX go to 100 when it's already worth $1 billion in market cap?
I told you that the company's going to retire shares. Clean your ears out. I said it yesterday.
And how are they going to retire shares?
Well, the people with the shares are going to retire them. It's not me. It's the people that are running the show. Okay. When they put a new company in, they are recapitalizing it. Just like, wait a second, GTI is doing the same type of thing. Very interesting. They want to get the shares back from the old CEO and retire them, correct?
Right.
Wow, it sounds just like GBUX. Interesting. Companies do that all the time.
Is GBUX still going first?
GBUX has that look that these guys are on the ropes. They're wiggling like they're going to die. The attacks, 7 days in a row. Today was the 8th day in a row trying to push it down. Now they're crossing stock. All the signs that it's ready to go are right here.
Do you think the fact that I think the market's closed tomorrow, are they just trying to keep it down over the long weekend, or will they cover later today?
Is tomorrow Good Friday?
Tomorrow's Good Friday. Thanks for stopping by.
It is close. Okay, good. I don't know. Listen, they can do whatever they want. It's coming to an end. It doesn't make a difference.
So Rosa wants to win with GBUX and then buy Finger.
Rosa, I would want nothing more for GBUX to explode, and I could buy another 100,000 shares of Finger Motion. I would love for that to happen.
Mike is pointing out that record date on GBUX will be huge. I'm a little confused on that. For the dividend, maybe?
Yes, it would be for the dividend.
Okay. And then he says, watch GBUX. They have been living bid up with no trades. Living.
There's no, listen, they can't sell anymore. Anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions?
Yep. The one is going to take profits from GBUX and go into Finger. Donna says hello. Rosa thanks you. Dustin wants to know, when do you think everything goes down? By June?
I think it's going down now.
Okay.
The president is just telling you right now.
Yeah.
I didn't make that statement. DJT did. Read the press release. It's out there.
Mike says if GBUX turns up today, it could rip. Yeah, it's 393 right now. That's a good point, Mike. Maybe it will.
All right.
It's only noon. It's only noon.
Listen. You could pick your poison. You could pick your poison. You can go short it or go long it, right?
Or stay away. Ambi says hello. Dustin asks you, so is your general play, if GBUX goes, roll it into Finger? If Finger goes,
that's
roll
what
it.
I'm doing. That's what I'm
If Finger goes first, would you roll it into GBUX? I would say in that second case, it'll depend on
I think
the
GBUX
price.
will be gone by then.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it'll be gone.
Yeah, exactly.
But GBUX at $4, when Finger starts ripping, GBUX will be 20.
Right. Right. Which would imply, oh, I see. If they retire shares, we don't know what it'll market.
Yes, that number you're talking about is going to disappear.
Okay.
I heard that a long time ago, and that's what the guy told me when I bought it. That's going to be a big stock. And he said, look for restructuring of debt, look for this, look for that. I said, okay, so that's what I know.
I have an appointment to get my ears cleaned.
All right. You got an infection in your ear?
I do have a bad ear on my left. I have to go in. But when does GBUX get the dollars from the Middle Eastern guys?
You know what? I wish they would send me there. I go get it for them.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That's a trip to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so unless more questions pop up, we've run
I've got
the
you the two. I gave you the two stocks. I'm telling you it's now, and I'm telling you the President of the United States, his company, Devin Nunes, has put out a bold statement accusing the market of being a third world casino. It's right there. So this is the warning shot. A lot of these big players are standing around and saying, you're sitting there saying, why aren't they covering? Is because they can't cover. They're going to be forced to cover. They're going to go bankrupt, then they're going to go to jail. They're all trapped. That's what's going on.
You gotta pull it up, yeah.
Mhm.
Order it later.
That's exactly what's going on.
New York sounds friendly.
Yeah. I'm at Katz's Deli.
Katz's Deli?
Yeah.
How'd you know my name was Katz?
There's always a line. There's the line.
Are you getting the pastrami or the
Pastrami and a knish.
and a knish?
Yep.
There's something about those delis. Are there going to be other places? Yeah, but well, let's get there. How high do you think DJT is going to go?
That's a good question. It's a hard question because of they have the algorithms on their stock, and the algorithms create this artificial volume, so it's tough to tell you what they're doing. GBUX and finger motion, you can actually see there's no volume. It's very different.
Right. Which sandwich are you getting at Katz Deli? Someone asked.
The pastrami on rye.
Pastrami on rye. With mustard or with?
Oh, with mustard. Spicy mustard.
Can finger rip without the dividend?
Yes. I think it can go any second. Remember, we have a short seller that's looking at someone pointing a gun at him, and it's not us. It's the President of the United States and the DOJ and the FBI. I told you it'd be easier to fold and go declare bankruptcy than to keep playing the game. And finger motion, the volume is telling you that they stopped playing the game.
Wanda tells you to enjoy your lunch.
I will. Thank you.
Robert Kepke, your friend, our friend, said,
I would never take that guy for lunch. He'll bankrupt you. He's so big.
well, maybe
Take
you
him to Katz's Deli. It cost me $500.
maybe he can get you to the front of the line. He said his son had many surgeries in New York City, and every time they would go to Katz's Deli.
Yeah, everybody goes there. That's where we go to. So
Wanda says the news on DJT is looking good, as are the pastrami sandwiches. Big Orange says GBUX looks like it's about to turn green. 398. Yeah, 390, 398. You're right. Diggy Kirk says, thank you for the education, Ham. I would have panicked about a year ago. Now I see the play coming from the shorts, ready to roast them.
there you go. That's what I wanted to hear.
Ham and William, can you name the stocks you currently own, just out of curiosity? I don't know why it matters, but I have an IRA, which is small, very small, and I own a tiny bit of GBUX, tiny bit of NIXX, and I own a little bit more in terms of shares of Railtown. and I'm buried in a disaster investment in Logic. That's my holdings.
I only got 2 stocks. And I got my Connect. So while you're talking, William, I'm going to be...
Do you have a pickle?
Of course. Fantastic.
Can Butters, that's me, wants you to retweet the message he tagged you on about DJT 2 minutes after the look, he's already retweeted everything, and he got it from Kristen. But yeah,
Shaughnessy sent it to me. I will take care of it.
He will
as soon as I get home.
He'll do yours too.
I promise. I promise I'll take care of it.
How high can the squeeze go after the first spike? Will you outline that live?
The first spike, it's going to get all the sissies out. And that's why I told you to make small sales on the first spike. This way you feel comfortable about trading it. That's the difference. The second, third, and the fourth spikes are their home run swings. That's how it works. The first spike is the amateur spike. The amateur spike, and I've done the same thing. You panic out, and that's what happens. Oh, I made this, I made that, and you run away. We all do that.
On the other hand, there's nothing wrong with taking a little bit off the table when it spikes, and then you can always buy back in or just take the cash and go to Bermuda. Look, there's no A+ on these trades. If you get a C- or a D+, that's good enough. You don't have to get an A+ on these trades. Just make money.
That's all it counts.
JCab says, thanks for the education, Ham. I don't flinch anymore when stocks go red. Robert Kapke just bought more GBUX. Look, I forgot to add to you guys.
Robin is a beast.
I own shares in 2 different gold mining companies that are essentially private or trade by appointment. I also own shares in a silver company. These are all private things that I can't trade. So there, I've disclosed to you what I own. I don't know why it matters, but I guess it always does. And I reserve the right, by the way, to trade any way I want to. Ham, do you think the draft executive order, which we, the investors, sent to Trump a few days ago, caused Devin Nunes to make this statement today?
Maybe. I don't know.
Old man says he thinks finger will squeeze within a month.
I agree. I think it's any day now, any day. The writing is on. The president of the United States has put out a statement about his company. Do you think he's just going to say, Devin Nunes, hey, this naked short selling thing is just related to DJT? It has to be everyone. This is how they're going to do it.
Frank Main asks,
I think you're gonna see massive buying and finger motions shortly by big funds.
Frank Main asks, how does the SEC find fake shares? Rarely and poorly.
Stevie Wonder does a better job. They know all about it. Jamie Dimon said it the other day. They know everything that's going on. The system is rigged. That's what's been going on. This isn't something they know nothing about. Listen, I've been screaming about it since 2000. Trust me, Pat Byrne, everybody did.
I'm surprised Trump mentioned his company first instead of making a blanket statement, Pete says.
Which is okay. I don't care who he does, what he does, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Listen, the people on this phone call and the people that I speak to and the people that read me on Twitter. Listen, William, I had over 100,000 people follow me on Twitter until I got kicked off by the shorts 5 times. So there's 3,000 people that follow me now. Those people are market people and they're well educated. The buffoons that didn't bother to continue following me, they're out there trading. I told you I made a kid $300,000 or $400,000 of finger in GTII. He thought he was going to be the biggest trader in the world. He used to work for Benzinger. He was thanking me. Blah 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 blah. He came back and lost all the money. He was all those crazy names.
I always say that because I learned it early on. It's terrible. One of the curses is if you make a lot of money on your first trade or 5th trade early in your trading, because then you think you're good at it. You just got lucky, some luck. So best thing, if you make a huge win on a trade, just put it in the money market for a while. Calm down. Don't lose it back. They'll take it back. It's like being at the casino. If
they want you to go right back to the table. Right?
Yeah. I remember going to Atlantic City by myself, breaking up with a girlfriend. So I made like 1,800 sitting at the whatever table, and I was going to leave and drive home. And the guy came up to me, said, "Hey, you want a room tonight?" I said, "Sure, that sounds great." So I take the room. The next morning I get breakfast, coffee, and I thought to myself, I'll just go back one more time. I lost it all.
I have a friend that went to Atlantic City, and he made $190,000 playing baccarat and something else. I forgot, maybe blackjack.
Yeah.
He had his brother put it in the room in the safe, and he went down with $10,000.
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't let me take that money." The guy had a gun with him, had his brother against the wall to open the safe. He was robbing himself, holding his brother hostage to get the money. He lost it all. How's that? I told the brother, "Don't let me go back down. Put it in the safe. Don't tell me the combination." He went after him.
See, I agree with Dan Stango. All brokers, funds should be made to report all their holdings, street name or other name, short, long, derivative, hypothecated, lent out, collateralized. It should all be above board. I agree with you.
The whole system is rigged.
Mike says, I think this is the last chance in GBUX. For a squeeze, I think you're right. My opinion, squeezes work when they got the bastards by the cojones, and they do maybe in GBUX right now. We'll find out. It's trading that way.
I just posted my sandwich and a picture of my knish on Twitter.
Nothing like a knish. I don't even know what a knish is, but it sounds good. I'm not
telling you.
Sounds good.
That's because you didn't grow up with the Jewish neighborhood like I did.
Is it savory or is it sweet?
I had the Puerto Ricans to my right, the Jews to my left, the Norwegians to this way.
Our knish is
blacks on this side, that side, everywhere.
Our knish is savory or sweet? Are they a side or a dessert?
It's a potato knish. It's just like a.
And it probably has onions in it.
No, it doesn't. The ones I have don't have. I don't like it with onions.
And does it have garlic in it?
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna.
So fast, I couldn't tell you.
I'm gonna have a knish. Next time I'm in New York, I'm gonna have a knish, and then I'll have a conniption fit. If Finger is trading at 100K daily and the shorts are 50%, how many real after the wash sales taken out? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Real versus Memorex doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Scott had another question earlier up here. Oh, Scott is learning pickleball so he can go to Brooklyn and kick your butt in pickleball. No, lots of luck.
Scott, where are you? I'll come to you, Scott. Where are you?
If you see some videos of Ham playing racquetball, you're never going to want to play him in pickleball.
Especially when I'm allowed to hit you with the ball.
If Trump is pushing to stop Congress from trading, Trump has to push DJT to settle the trades, or they'll probably come after him for it, I guess.
Just look at his statement.
When
today.
don't
That's all
they
you
go
need to know.
after him?
Just read his statement.
Sue DeWerf says transfer agents are nefarious in this too, as is the
We know. I relayed
DTCC.
the messages. I did that. It just shows you that the short sellers, the naked shorts, will do anything, pay off anybody to get stock to do what they want.
Eunice thanks you, Ham, for everything. Will it take a few days for Finger to run, or maybe a week?
It's going to happen fast. Once they fold, it's going to just keep ripping.
Dustin says, before you mentioned other plays you wanted to help, do you have any names after GBUX Finger?
Not yet.
They'll come. Randy, any manipulation we should be on the lookout for once Finger starts to rip? Halts, unable to trade, things like that.
It doesn't make a difference. Halls, you know the data. You know it all. All that manipulation is going away. It's going to be buy it in.
The former Sue DeWerf just pointed out, Sue DeWerf Panzarino just pointed out the former CEO of Equinity just retired. Transfer agent. AST, American Stock Transfer.
Yeah. Those people, if they are doing something dirty, lending out shares, I'm sure those are cash transactions that they're hiding the money and getting paid for. Listen, if the naked short sellers, guys like the Kramers and Lynn Partners, they like to buy old debt in these companies and then convert it into shares. That's part of their scam. These guys will figure out anything. But the whole scam goes away if you force settlement. That's it. It's over with.
Do you think their mother ever asked them, I don't understand how you make money, son?
I think those guys like the Kramers and Jeff Easton, they just tell their mothers, you know, shut the fuck up. I'm making money. Just keep quiet. That's their mentality. They're not gentlemen. They're animals. They come from a criminal background. To go out there and short cancer companies, and for the people in Northwest Bio, I met a guy who was supposedly funding Northwest Bio a long time ago, and I was in his office. His name is Michael Bigger. And they just did a secondary. A friend of mine sent me to him. And I watched him selling the stock, and he's bragging to everybody that he was a big holder. I watched him do it in his office, and he was selling it using Maxim. I was right there. So these guys are all deviant. They steal whatever they can get. You know, think about doing a secondary offering. These guys give money. The stock is 50 cents. They're buying it back at 40 cents. And as long as they make themselves $500,000, they don't give a shit. And you go to your office and they act like who they are.
So the CEO of American Stock Transfer, a good Irish name, Marty Flanagan. They're all running for the hills, Sue says.
Is it crooks? They're crooks. The whole business should be automated. There should be no wiggle room. When you have wiggle room, that's how they steal.
Yeah. Why do you need market makers?
They're completely useless. It's so funny. A friend of mine is bringing a company public and asked me if I knew any market makers. So I called up a couple of guys that were market makers. They all quit. There's no money to be made. There's no order flow. There's nothing for them to do. Basically, they're just a trader on a desk. Traders win, traders lose. There's no edge. I told you that. There's no money to be made. So they all quit. So I couldn't help my friend out.
Do you know where Ari Rubenstein is?
I don't know.
Stein. I don't
Anyway,
know.
listen, people, I have to get going. I got to eat my lunch, and I'll speak to you later, William, all right?
All right. Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
stopping by. Yeah, Bill, that's it. That's a lot of squid. 1.25 million. I've done it. I've done it. I'm not just, I'm not lecturing or haranguing. I like that guy's point earlier. I do think I get worked up because I just hate people abusing you over and over again. And I get frustrated with myself because I'm obviously not getting it across. The problem is that there's argumentative types on Twitter that want proof. There's CEOs that want proof. There's lawyers that want proof. There's Congress. What's the proof? The bloody proof is in the price of the stock. Company after company goes from 10 million shares outstanding to 2 billion. 2 billion. And they're not investment bankers. They don't have clients. They don't have clients. They just have the hedge funds that sponsored them and showed the lawyers how to be crooked and showed them, here's the document. Get this signed and we'll back you up. We'll make sure you don't go to prison. I don't know. And then everybody falls for it. The drum major with the 3 first names, when the British accent and the dyed hair. It's my fight against the shorts. Bum, 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 bum. Follow me. I'm going to protect you. Bullshit. He's just taking money from you. Is Jeremy Frommer? I don't know if he was paid, stupid, or what, but he did get some funding for a few months. I don't know. I liked the guy when I met him, but I don't know what the hell. Is it, you guys keep bringing up GTII. Stop buying GTII. It's worthless. But I think there was an attempt when this one gentleman was working his ass off to make it happen. But then when Reichman came in with his arrogance and his self-certainty and his crookedness, apparently, blew it up. But I mean, it's just company after company after company after company. Guys come on with the gravelly voices that they earned at late nights with cigars and whiskey and girls and hanging out. And they talk to you and they, oh yeah, I got this and I got that. And then they use some words that you don't understand. You say, I got to invest in that stock. It starts to move. COSM is a perfect example. And you believe their crap. They want your money. They want the stock price up. So there's something to steal. They need something to steal. They don't come on here and hype DBMM. They don't come on here and hype Logic, for example, LGIQ. It's done. It's finished. Thank you, Brent. Just great judgment. You know, you can work hard for 10 years, really hard, and be honest, really honest, and be straightforward and fair. But if your judgment is bad, it's that last signature that destroys you. But maybe it's all Trump's fault. Maybe it's all the tariffs. It must be Trump's fault. Oh, I didn't see DBMM. Let's see what he says. I read the Kramers. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Guys, there's a guy out there who's one of the, I would say, he might be the smartest guy on any of these calls. His name is 100%. And I should get him on here to run through it with you. But here's the basic, and I only know the basics. I can't figure it out because it's outside of my experience. And I haven't read anything on it, so it's not in my head. But basically what happens, and it's usually out of Germany, it can be out of the UK, it can be out of somewhere else in Europe, but it's basically Germany. They sell stock. So they can, if they sell one share of stock or get one share of stock trading on the Chicago exchange, I don't know why it matters that it's Chicago. They can then either be a market maker or go through a market maker, and they can sell unlimited quantities of stock from Germany in the US market that they don't own, that they're not going to own, that they don't borrow, they're never going to borrow, that they don't deliver, they're never going to deliver. On top of that, the trades in the United States, there's a record of, unless Ken Griffin burns down his warehouse. But in Europe, they don't keep the trade records. Who is our enemy? Is it China or is it Europe? I don't have it right here, but I've read it to you so many times. The ants and funds, the toad. One German bourse, one German exchange, 1 year, to my memory, $17 trillion with a T, $17 trillion of trades. 1 year, one exchange, Germany, $17 trillion. Trillion. There's never a closing transaction. The money is transferred. No taxes. Who is our enemy? China? Russia? Who really sticks the knife in to the United States? I'm not upset about, I don't know. I don't know how I come across. I get worked up. I'm not upset about Northwest Bio. I can't believe how ineffective I am at describing what's going on. We're a bunch of effing amateurs. Do you realize that? We're trading in stocks that are shit stocks. Do you realize that? And these guys come on, and they came on gangbusters. Jeremy showed up because he needed to raise money. That's why he showed up. And he did it. Roger Rabbit showed up because he needed to raise money, and he did it. Frank Benedetto showed up because he had IR contracts with many companies, and he wanted to show those companies that he had some pull, and he gets kickbacks. Lou Bravo knew you, most of you, before you knew me. He's just trading that access for money, shares. The CEO of Cosmo, he came here because he could get some money while you're excited. With Northwest Bio, I don't think it's the CEO. I think it's Yorkville. I think it's Yorkville doing it. I can't remember the name of that power company that Yorkville destroyed. It was $20. It went down to $1. It couldn't get out of its own way because of Yorkville. Yet you still want to know what's going on, better invest in it. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm telling you, buy silver. I'd rather be in a stock. I'm telling you, I did tell you logic. I was wrong on logic. Although there's people out there that say it's going to be okay and collective audience is going to be okay. I say bullshit. I think it's just a complete crap out. So I was wrong on that. And that's not good. I think about it all the time because people lost real money. I did too. I did too. Ham never wanted to deal with the guy because he didn't trust the guy's judgment, not anything personal. I guess that was probably right. I don't know. I think it's unfair to CEOs for them to have to figure this out. But everybody that gets straight A's in business school, they want proof. There isn't any proof. It doesn't exist. It's hidden. There's no blue sheets. There's no consolidated audit trail. There's no record out of Europe. There's no proof. But we want proof. We need proof before we do it. It's just, the whole thing is just so circular. It's so frustrating. And as soon as the stock starts going up, oh my God, I got to get in it. I got to be in it. Well, we made those mistakes. I've made those mistakes in front of you. I made the mistake in logic. So it's not that I get upset. It's not that let me say it differently. It's not that I get upset at you. It's that I do get upset, but it's just frustration. It's just frustration. Now, I think we have to realize we're all seeking that big home run. I think that's fine. That's what trading's about. That's what speculating is about. That's the market. And why not? That's what Soros did. Trump's done it with his hotels. Ted Turner did it. People do it. That's what, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem when we're just chumps over and over and over and over and over again. And this is a practiced criminal ring of activity. People get upset at me. I think it's a very definable type of guy. Is that because I hate his entire human subset? No, not at all. Not at all. It's just a characteristic of this typical crime. Do I hate all Nigerians or all true African Americans? Sorry, not African Americans, Africans? Because email scams that ask you to wire money because a prince is going to give you some cash if you had the money all come out of Nigeria? Should a CEO know when a guy comes in from a schlock investment advisory firm, bailing him out from another guy that came from a schlock investment advisory firm? Should they have their alarm bells on? Their eyes wide open? Should they read the document? Should they sit down with a pad of paper and go, well, what if this happens and this happens? Before they sign that effing note? I think so. But then we see Northwest Bio go from 18 cents to 25 cents, and we better be buying it. It's just, I don't know. There, on the other hand, there's no certainty, and it doesn't mean I'm always right on what I call. It's just, I guess I just don't like being the sucker, and I don't like you being the sucker. And it shouldn't be this hard. It's hard enough trading in a fair market. It shouldn't be tilted so mass. It's literally like the deck of the Titanic trying to get back up to the top. It's impossible. So anyway. The story on GTII was never good. It was always a crap company. It was never going to be good. However, I thought that the attempts to catch out the Kramers and the acquisitions, I owned a lot of GTII. I lost a shitload of money. I lost a shitload of money in GTII. So, but it was never a good story. Don't fool yourself. It was a short squeeze story all from the start. GTI is not interesting at all. It has zero interest, zero. You've got a CEO who seems to be a good guy. I'm not speaking ill of him. He wants you because he needs a core of investors. There are so many CEOs out there that have an idea, they may or may not have a shell, and they've run out of their initial money. They need you. They need you. Why? Because you become the piece that jumps in the pool first, and then they sign another deal and they're off to the races. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. That's finance. I read somewhere that finance is just somebody else's debt. But that's what it is. That's what it is. It's not interesting at all. You've got on the face of it right now, you've got a shell that's going to, 20% of that shell is going to be owned by the receiver. I don't know a whale or a company who would ever put value into a shell to make a clerk fucking rich. So GTII has no interest. It is not something you should be investing in. When that CEO finally makes the decision, my guess is he's already got your attention. He already knows your names. He'll buy a different shell. And then that might be interesting. But if he does something in this shell, you got to find out what's the cram down. far as I can tell, we'll have 1 or 2% of the NewCo if we're lucky. Nobody's going to give you value. Nobody. It's a crap shell. There's shells out there. The CEO could go buy a shell for 200 grand. He could go take over a company that has investors. He doesn't need GTII shell. And make no mistake, GTII is worthless. And there's nobody, if they study the cap table, that's going to put millions of dollars in. All right, I'm willing to give you $5 million for GTII. And I understand you have the best new app that's going to compete head on with online trading. And you've got an AI app that's going to help people understand trading and have it. That's great. I'll put 5 million in. How much of the company do I get? Well, you're going to get, for 5 million, you're going to get, we think it's worth 100 million right now. You do? Yeah, we got this comp here and this comp there, and look at what Webull's doing. Look what E-Trade, and here's the size of the market. There's 1 billion people in the world who will trade on their phones if they had our app. And so, yeah, we think it's worth. So for $5 million, you get 20% of the company. Really? Well, that sounds pretty good. Send me the cap table. So, all right. So who owns the company now? Well, we do. We're bringing in the technology, so we're getting 60% of the company. We're bringing in the technology. We're bringing in the customers. We're bringing in the management team. So we're going to take 60% of the company. All right. So I'm getting 20%. That's 80. Who has the other 20%? Well, the receiver has. Who's the receiver? Well, he's the guy that he did some work for us, and he got it through the receivership. And we made a deal with him so that if he got money back, which we did the work on, we have a guy on our team that's pissed off, and he's really leading the efforts to claw back the money and the shares, and he's the one that is going after the CEO's daughter's car and everything. But we needed a receiver. That guy's working in the background. We needed somebody to go do it. So we told him he could have 10% of any cash he recovered. And he worked on it for about 4 months, and he recovered 700,000 in cash, it looks like. So he's going to make 70 grand. All right, but yeah, but I didn't ask you about that. Well, so why does he own 18% of the company? Well, he got 190 million shares clawed back. He gets 10% of that. Well, who located those shares? Well, it's this other guy actually did the legwork, paid for the lawyers, paid for the detectives, did the forensics work. Well, so what did the receiver do? Well, he just did the file. He wrote 3 reports. Look, I'm not disparaging his work. He does excellent work. But so the guy that's going to put up $5 million to finance the company for 20% of the company is going to say, okay, that's great. That receiver is going to have 18% of the company for taking, as Richard Hoffman put it, he took risk. Well, I would submit to you, son of a gun. So now what? I would submit to you that there's better shells out there, so that the guy putting up 5 million, could own a third of the company instead of 20%. Or he could own 20% and the rest of it is somebody else putting up money. So he has a better chance of winning. GTII as a shell right now, as I understand its construction, is a non-starter. It's a piece of shit, and there's no way any investor would ever put money into GTII. And by the way, if you heard how I broke it out, there's probably 2% for us. It's a crap. It's not interesting. GTII is not interesting. Write it off. Write GTII off. Now, if he renegotiates, which fair enough, he renegotiates with the receiver's ownership. If he clarifies everything, and there's a deal there, he'll come to you. He'll come to you. He's going to come to you. He's going to say, you know what? Here's the deal. We're coming in for 70%. We've moved this shares down to this, and this. You're going to keep 15% of the company. And if you'd like to, we're going to give you a first option on investing in $1 million offering. Because $1 million, to my memory, $1 million is something that doesn't need SEC process. As long as you're a friend of the company, and there's a certain number of non-accredited we can take, or you're an accredited investor, we're going to give you a chance to increase your ownership. Here's the deck. I'm going to pitch it to you. Boom, boom, boom. You'll have that chance. Then you can tell me it's interesting or not. The only thing that's left out of my story, my point of view, is does the massive short position in GTII survive receivership? My opinion, they're not going to let it. Am I right? Hell no, I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong. I'm not a lawyer. But I don't know why the lawyers behind Alpine, the hedge fund that Rhubarb came from, I don't know why any of them, the system, would allow the short position to exist in a way that's going to threaten the system later on. But I could be wrong. Maybe they'll leave that time bomb in there through receivership. It's a human organization, and it might happen. So if the short position exists after receivership, maybe there's that might be interesting. It's not interesting to me now because I don't think it's obvious that that's going to exist afterwards. And then you have a stock that the shorts can still play with, even though you have a new CEO, even though he's got a transformational application that people can download on their phones and pay monthly subscription to, and it revolutionizes the whole bloody world. Unlike all the other apps out there. The stock can still be sold down and sold down and sold down. So it could be a penny stock by the time he's pitching. It could be a 5-cent stock. What's he going to now? I think he's savvy enough that he's not going to do this. But you got to be sure that his investors or whoever controls the asset, I think he does, isn't going to do it. That they don't do a reverse split. I wouldn't do a reverse split. I just go with whatever it is. But you don't know that. You don't know that right now. So GTII has zero interest. Zero. And I think it's an insult to keep bringing it up. Your money is lost. Your money is forfeit in GTII. I think this time I've been very clear. I think you know where I stand on GTII. Oh, it's 100 mile per hour. Okay, all right. Okay, I'll try to get them in. China's our enemy. Yeah, I don't know. Still hating Lou. Still hating Lou. He was right on GTII. I wish I sold. Well, I'm not hating on Lou. And I think for you to say it that way shows how small-minded you are. Lou worked in a world of ideas and recommendations. I just think when Lou told you, and this is what Lou told you that the CEO at COSM was not going to do a reverse split. That Lou told you the CEO at COSM was not going to do a toxic financing. Lou told you that when the COSM changed its name, there'd be a short squeeze. Lou told you when COSM changed its CUSIP, there'd be a short squeeze. He told you there was a 2,000 to 1 short position. So you tell me if Lou was right on COSM. Lou told you to buy GTII. Was he right on that? But you are correct. When Lou said to sell GTII, that would have been a good time to sell. I didn't, but that would have been a good time to sell. I told you times to sell GTII as it went down for tax reasons, but I wasn't blunt enough for you, so you didn't hear it. But I changed my position from neutral to sell basically 2 years ago. You know, you're not going to hear that. Unfortunately, the stock I chose to emphasize, the guy from the American Stock Exchange who blames Donald Trump for Logic being at 0.00, as I understand it. I get that information third hand, just to show his ability to think. My alternative wasn't good, but no, I don't hate on Lou. I like Lou. I think Lou had a vision early, which was that if retail people got together with information, they could win. I think Lou shared his ideas with you. I think Lou shared his techniques with you. And I think there was a way to make money with Lou. He's dead now, and I've prayed for him, but none of us know how long we're here. But no, I don't hate Lou at all. But I think he was wrong on COSM. I think he was probably paid to give that recommendation on COSM. I think he punctured. I mean, this is the assholeianness of your statement. I think GTII was in the middle of a squeeze. I also think Finger was in the middle of a squeeze. And had Lou not done anything along with Frank and along with Gus Fliakos, I think both stocks still would have squeezed. And then Lou would have been correct to not do anything because the stocks would have gone to the moon. But then Lou came out and told you to sell. He popped the balloon or helped pop the balloon. Look, I don't blame him. He was probably paid for it. The criminals have every advantage on their side. They popped the balloon of the GTII being squeezed. Of course, I got to go through it again with you, nerdy, because you have a brain that half the size of a hollowed out pea. GTI went to 897 because it was squeezing, because there was a warrant as a special dividend, which had a strike price of $2.75. The more the stock, the harder it was, particularly on Fidelity. Fidelity was paying 1,000% to borrow GTII before Lou popped the bubble. But you're herding cats here. You're herding cats. My contention is if we had held in right then, there was a chance for a short squeeze. It was in the middle of a squeeze. But Fidelity, who was paying 1,000% to borrow GTII to honor fulfillment of those warrant exercises, was bailed out by Lou telling everyone to go to COSM because COSM's CEO wasn't going to do a reverse split, wasn't going to do a toxic financing, wasn't going to, when the changing the name was going to cause a 2,000 to 1 imbalance of short shares to long shares to cause COSM to go up. So yeah, I think Lou helped to pop the bubble on the GTII squeeze. Wells Fargo had taken away the buy button, but we'll never know. We'll never know. It didn't happen. And the criminals have the money to go out and organize an attack and get friends to come in on it. And again, could get idiots like you to say he was right on GTII. He popped the bubble on GTII, in my opinion. But yeah, I think you're correct. I think you're correct. I think once he did pop the bubble, I didn't sell. I wish I had sold at that time. You're right. You're absolutely right. And to criticize Lou's decision is to hate on him. I guess I'm self-hating because I'm criticizing my trust in the judgment of Brent Sun at Logic. I guess I'm self-hating, still hating on myself. Nerdy, I wish you had a better brain. Trump media alerts the SEC to potential manipulation of DJT. Yeah, we went over that. Yeah, Bill, thank you. I can't handle the truth. Yeah, I guess I can't. I guess you're right. I can't handle the truth. Any thoughts about the FOIA released by George? I haven't read it. Is that where I can find it? I haven't read it. But apparently it shows that people like Maxine Waters are duplicitous and are not on our side. I didn't need the FOIA to know that. I've pointed it out. I went to the hearings. I saw the sour puss on her face. I saw all I needed to know that Maxine Waters was corrupt. So my reaction, very surface level, is it's nice. The FOIA's out. Now you have entered into evidence with the lawyers at Congress, the lawyers on various lawsuits, maybe with the press. You have some stuff in evidence, but I don't think it really changes the situation. And with MMTLP, Deacon, my concern with MMTLP is that everyone's excited for a settlement in MMTLP. I'll try to go through it very succinctly. Guys like Double D on Twitter, who were paid, in my judgment, or were promised payout, in my judgment, got you to delay doing anything. And if it's not you personally, it's other people. But collectively, they got us to not do anything. So when Greg McCabe goes to Congress or goes into court, he goes in with his dick in his hands because he can only verify half of his shareholders. The other half, they're all in street name. So that gives the big cover for the criminals to manipulate and not disclose. So let's use numbers. There's approximately 60 or 70 or 80 million shares Greg has that are accounted for. There's about 60 million shares that Greg doesn't know for sure. They're in street name, 60 million shares. Well, if there's 600 million or a billion or 1.6 million shares in MMTLP, which are counterfeit, he can't prove it. You can't prove it. And Wagner doesn't want it proven. FOIA doesn't prove it. None of it proves it. And so we're 3 years later. We're 3 years later. So Double D and the other, I'm not saying he's criminal, but the other people out there who are criminal, apparently they've gotten NextBridge to trade in the open market. They're already shorting the hell out of it from Germany. I don't know. I don't know how to prove that to you. It has to be FOIA requested, I guess, for the proof to be really proof. My opinion is that because of that vagueness, because we have not moved our shares over to NextBridge, there's this big mushy, the big mushy that the criminals can hide behind. They can hide behind it with the lobbyists. They can hide behind it with the professors. They can hide behind it with Congress. They can hide behind it in lawsuits. They can hide behind it with judges. They can hide behind it with the regulators. So 3 years have gone by. Where do we stand, Deacon? Where do we stand? The criminals have threatened the lives of the people who are bureaucrats at university lands. The criminals have threatened the lives of people at NextBridge. So much so, the lease of the Oregon Day is lost. The criminals caused so much confusion that the value of the Oro Grande is called into question over the last 3 years. The criminals have caused so much confusion that it looks like NextBridge is going to have to maybe declare bankruptcy to protect their rights. They're going to spin it to you. Oh, that's bad. That's terrible. Look, Jimmy Carter declared bankruptcy to protect his farm. You do it to protect your rights. So what do I think of the FOIA request? Too little, too late. Too little, too late. What's going to be the argument for settlement? What do you think the argument is for settlement? Hey, they stole from us. We had a chance for a short squeeze. Do you think anyone in Congress or in the Trump administration or in the regulatory world or journalism or lobbyists or on TV is going to support your claim or my claim for money speculating, I could have been rich. If they just had let it trade, I would be rich. I don't think there's a chance in hell. I don't think there's a chance in hell. So then there's the second loss. Well, they didn't allow us to sell our stock just to get out of it so we could use our money. Okay. They're going to come back and say, well, the only thing that the corporate action allowed for was that Wall Street should convert your MMTLP into shares of NextBridge. We've done that. We put out a fact sheet that it's on you, me, to request it, but we did that. So we've already made our argument in public. Faulty, I agree, but it's an argument, and I don't think Trump's going to go against it. That on the Thursday, if you didn't trade by the end of the day, you weren't going to be able to trade. I think it's a flawed argument because you could have short settlement. But that's not what they're going to argue. It was T plus 2. It's an argument, and I think it flies. So you didn't trade on Thursday? It's on you. That's what they're going to argue. Then the other thing they're going to argue. What is the value of NextBridge shares right now? What's the value? And you know, there's complicated issues. If they hadn't interfered, NextBridge could be trading by now. They could have drilled wells by now. They might have found the biggest onshore discovery of oil by now. Any court is going to tell you that's speculation. What is the value right now? What is the value of NextBridge shares right now? They got 60 million in debt or something. They have leases in limbo. They have ownership of the Southern Louisiana historic trend, but they can't finance anything. They have a financing proposed with Roth Capital that they can't get through. There was a record of a couple of transactions with insiders, depending on the assumptions you make, that could be worth under $1 a share or $2, maybe even $4 a share. But what is it worth now? Probably not very much. So I think the FOIA release is too little too late. I'm not optimistic for a huge settlement in MMTLP. And I own for me, $40,000 worth of it. And I transferred my shares to NextBridge. I'm not that optimistic of a payout on MMTLP. I intend, if I ever get my feet on the ground, to try to help Greg McKay build a company. But right now, you got bankruptcy, you got this and that. Anyway, that's how I feel about it. And can't believe you told the world where and when you'd be today, so you have death threats. Tam come on. He doesn't come on anymore. Not so willing. Thanks for sharing your comments. Bill Michael is right. I'm my own worst enemy. Lou was right on XRP. Yeah, look, Lou was right on XRP. He was right on the whole general idea. I think he was correct. There was another stock that everybody made money on. He wasn't right on that medical stock. I don't have a problem with Lou. I don't know what the notification of my YouTube clips are. I don't know. I don't know how to do any of it. I really don't. My LinkedIn account is blowing up with abolished. FINRA should be gone. Bill Singer, Nick Morgan. I hope FINRA should be gone. I think NASDAQ should be gone. James Angel is the most corrupt of all. Susan DeWolf Panzarino. McCabe is not going to let this happen. Yeah, exactly. Look, I'm on the side of McCabe. I think he's going to make it happen. I think they picked the wrong guy to mess with. And remember, the shorts are trapped too. Transfer your shares. I agree. Let me see what Frank says. We are not in Nexbridge legally. We were halted before, so we are frozen by law in MMTLP. That's where you make the legal faux pads patently. I don't think you're right. That's not correct. It's not correct. The argument from FINRA is the reason they stopped trading Friday morning is that if you owned it Thursday, regular way settlement, you were entitled to that transfer, and they put it on you to do it. So you're just trying to confuse people. All right, everybody, let's just check some of the prices, and then I'm going to go do what I had to do today. Finger is $1.30, up 3 cents. Northwest Bio is up 4 cents at 29. Railtown is down slightly. It's red at 0.3073. NIXX is red at $1.41. GBUX is down 50 cents at 3.53. And DJT. DJT is up $1.87 at 21.62. Let's see if there's any news out there that matters. It's Holy Thursday, so I don't know. Trump's pissing with Powell. Luxury is in trouble. Okay, let me see if there's any other news. Oh boy, an active shooter in Florida. Darn it. The most available woman in the world. Some news on her. Some other just worthless news. I'm not going to read there. There's a good article, The Grandest Game of Chicken Ever. I'm not going to read it now. I've got to go get something done. It's not working. Okay, there we go. The Supreme Court rules that the UK Supreme Court, transgender women are not legally women. So you got to get it into evidence. Zelensky's Hobson's choice. What are your thoughts, Hobson? Do you think fish ever get tired of seafood? That's pretty neat. I saw that we discovered life. It's pretty cool. I think we should stop contacting other life. I don't think it'll turn out well, but it's pretty good. All right, I'm going to sign off. Blessed Holy Thursday to you, and happy Easter. I'm 50-50 on coming on over the next 3 days because it's Easter. But anyway, I got to sign off now because I delayed. I wonder if fish... bathing is a lonely business, except for fish. What are your thoughts, Hobson? All right. Happy Easter. Happy Easter.